The whole Adi Leela is 17 chapters. So, and then first chapter Adi Leela sets that context across for all chapters for Adi Leela. And so, first 6 verses are the very key. 14 verses of first chapter is very key for the whole Adi Leela. In that, the third verse is establishing supreme absolute truth. So, this whole second chapter is based on that third verse. Now, so Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, this is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Bhagavat is by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Both are in essence is Bhagavat Sammat Shastra, it is called, because you will always find references going back to Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Lord Krishna, so that's why you see the last line from the last to this third verse. Na Chaitanya Krishna Jagati Paradattam Paramiha. There is no superior truth. It is the same Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is same Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Is the supreme transcendental personal form. It is absolute truth. And there is no other superior truth than this. But he cannot just say that and leave it there. So he has to prove it. So that this whole chapter is foundation expressed with quotations from Bhagavad Gita is quoting, from Srimad Bhagavatam is specifically quoting, and then few other Upanishads will be quoting. So this is how the any standard shastra so are actually authorized bona fide Vedic literature is been explained. So that's when it is called Bhagavad Sammat Shastra. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat is non-different from Srimad Bhagavatam. So, actually, our Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Goswami Prabhupada had make sure that anybody who is staying in the temple, they all should read Chaitanya Bhagavat every day. Just like we read Srimad Bhagavatam every day, Chaitanya Bhagavat every day. He himself used to read, he told, I can drown myself, but if I have just Chaitanya Bhagavat, I can carry that, that's it. I don't need anything else. So that is his mood of his attachment, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings are the supreme at the highest, topmost level, PhD level. जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। इधर महाप्रभु की जय। तो श्री चैतन्य प्रभुम वंदे यद बालोपि तद अनुग्रहात् तरेनपि नामग्राहात् सिद्धा व्याप्तिम सिद्धांत सागरम। Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami beautifully offers that there are so many philosophers. Somebody is calling monism, somebody is calling dualism, somebody is calling God is dead, somebody is calling God is not there. So many philosophies, it's becoming like a crocodile. One who's swimming in the crocodiles and whales and sharks. These kind of philosophies, what is real, what is not real, it's becoming very difficult. It became the ocean of so unlimited philosophies. So only way one can cross over that is by taking shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's what he's doing in this chapter beginning. You'll see that. Sri Chaitanya Prabhum Vande Balo Api Yad Anugraha. Even if one is Bala, one is small child. So Taren means Hindi. This is Taren means one is crossing. Crossing over this Nana Mata Graha. Nana Mat means various philosophies. So that's the Prabhupada also uses that word verse. मुनिस तर्क प्रतिष्ठा श्रुतयो विभिन्ना नासो मुनिद्यस्य नासो मुनिद्यस्य मतं न भिन्नम सो दैट मता नाना मत दैट मतं न भिन्नम महाजनस धर्मस्य तत्वं निहितं गुहायां महाजनस्य येन गतस्य पान्ता. So from this nana mat we have to understand that is a quotation we have to refer what it means, because various philosophies every sage has come up with when Vyasadeva has divided so various limbs, he has given to Kanada, he has given to Yajnavalkya, he has given to Astavakra, like that he has divided and given to different sages. Somebody has came up with Karma Kanda section, somebody has Karma Mimamsa, so somebody has come up with Gnana Kanda, in that also atheistic Kapila. So all these kind of various philosophies completely deviating from the original real Vastu, Vastam Vastu, Vastu Nirupana, Vastu Nirdesha. You will find these words throughout this chapter. It's all the same thing. Supreme Absolute Truth is the real Vastu. Vastu means any material thing people call Vastu in Hindi and Sanskrit in regional languages also. But whenever Bhagavatam is speaking Vastu, means is only Krishna. Supreme Absolute Truth, Krishna is the Vastu, a real Vastu. Everything else is immaterial. Everything else is inferior. Everything else is not so important. Important thing is how to understand in relation with Krishna. As soon as you remove minus Krishna, it is like you're removing one and all zeros only. How many millions, crores, billions, but one is not there. That means all zero only. So that's what all this Nana Matta Graha Vyaptam Siddhanta Sagar. Beautifully, Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is describing. So, in each and every chapter, is offering his prayers. Depending on what the context and chapter is, accordingly he offers his prayers. If you look at the chapter beginnings of Adilila, Madhya Antilila, it goes, Antilila prayers, it goes even much more intense in the beginning of the verses of the last until the last chapters. So pay attention, and at the end of the last every chapter is always submitting. Sri Rupa Raghunath Pade Arayas Krishnadas Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishnadas is submitting to Rupa Raghunath, six Goswamis at their lotus feet for their mercy, so that it is pleasing to them. Whatever is compiling, whatever is writing, it is pleasing to them. So it's very important to submit that way because they are the is Siksha Gurus. So Lord Nityananda Prabhu is the spiritual master, Diksha Guru, and then Siksha Guru is the Rupa and Raghunath Das Goswami. So there is that if you want to understand Chaitanya Charitamrita, just like we are to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, then we submit Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya starts with Narayan Namaskucha, Narayan Rishi, Vyasdev, Sutta Saraswati. That's how it goes. We really have to feel it and submit, really submit it. And then you go inside it. And same thing for Chaitanya Charitamrita. You have to really offer our obeisances and prayers to, we should include him in our prayers. Because always we have to go by the author without seeking the shelter and mercy of the author who's writing. For us, Prabhupada, but our spiritual master Prabhupada, but then you have to go to the author also. That's how these prayers are. And so that it's very important. So that we understand his mood, his mission, what is laying out. So then things can be revealed. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mat, his mission, his mood will be revealed through Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, through spiritual Prabhupada, through our spiritual master. Then it will be revealed to us. So that is how one should read. One should before the class, before reading, before studying. So that is the mood in which this should be understood. I offer my obeisance to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose mercy even an ignorant child can across the ocean. Swim across the ocean of conclusions about the ultimate truth, which is full of crocodiles of various theories. So especially the monism and dualism is very much rampant. Means one with God, merging into Brahmana effulgence, or two separate duality. Especially in the material world, so much duality, the happiness, distress. So everything is duality here. So that is the verse number 1, and then we'll read the verse number 4, and then we'll go to 1992. So verse number 5. So this is from verse number 3 from chapter 1, because this is the main verse connected. Whole chapter is based on this verse only. He's explaining this verse only. How the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the source of the impersonal Brahman effulgence, is the source of Paramatma, and he is the source of the personal form of Krishna. He is non-different from Krishna. Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different. Both are the same personality. So that is the Vastu Nirdesha, Vastu Nirupan. You will mention in the last, but one verse also is telling the same thing. So there also is mentioned the same thing. Chaitanya Gosanira Vastu Nirupan Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Brajendrananda. That's what he says, last but one verse in this chapter. So because that's how he starts, Vastu Nirupan, and then at the end again is establishing the same truth at the final conclusion. And then he submits Rupan Raghunath. Yadadvaitam Brahma Upanishad Yatadasya Tadapi Asya Tanubha. What we see, the Brahman effulgence is non-dual. So it's Advaita. या आत्मा अंतर्यामी पुरुषा इति सो अस्याम स विभव अंतर्यामी पुरुष परमात्मा feature is also coming from as a second feature, and then tasad aishwarya purno yah bhagavan sa swayam ayam, this complete full six opulences that Purna Bhagavan. So all these three are, who is that? It is the source is the Supreme Lord Shiva. Then the last line is making that statement. All these first, second, third, all these, who is the Supreme Source? Because you could say form means all of six opulences. You could say Lord Vishnu, Lord Rama, Lord Narsinga, so many forms. But then who is the actual original? Who is the Supreme? Who is the topmost? How everything, from everything comes. So then he has to establish that. So that is he is the real Vastu. Vastavam, Vastu, Vastavam. Second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll come to that. Na Chaitanyat Krishna Jagati Paratattvam Paramiha. So that's what he is establishing. So that's what we have to understand. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. What the Upanishad describe, as soon as you understand Upanishad, Prabhupada explains that Upa means from spiritual master. You have to understand this as soon as prefix upa means you have to go and understand from the supreme, from the spiritual, bona fide spiritual master. If you don't hear from the bona fide spiritual, you cannot understand it. Upanishad, any Upanishad, you can't understand it. So that is a very meaning of Upanishad Prabhupada's writing. I think in this verse purport or another verse purport. I think it's first canto, second verse, first canto, Srimad, second verse, I think, they're explaining, or in this chapter. It's Prabhupada writing in the purport. What Upanishad describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and he is known as, and the Lord, known as the super soul, is but his localized portion, plenary portion. So plenary portion is, as I explained already, plenary portion, just like you have Lord Krishna and Balram, and then Balram's expansion, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna. So they are called plenary, or plenary meetings in the assembly, they will call. So that means those who are the so here 8D camp, Prabhupada calls, four divisions. Lord is delegating his functions. One is for consciousness, one is for ego, gravitational force, Vasudeva Sankarshan, then intelligence and mind, and then Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So these four personalities are in charge in Golok Vrindavan. This is the first set of the personalities. Is Vishnu Tattva category. Or the same personalities four, Chaturda Murti as Lord Jagannath, Lord Baladev, Lord Subhadra and Sudarshan ji, Lord Rama, Bharata, Shatrugna, and Lakshmana. So four personalities, 4-8D camp. So there at Chaturda was a little different. Subhadra is there, but otherwise four personalities is from Vasudeva to Aniruddha. Four personalities. That's what plenary portion means. And then further portion of the plenary portion from those personalities, then Lord Narayan comes from that Sankarshan. So now he will be called portion of that plenary portion. These four are already plenary portion. Because Lord Balram is the first second. From him, then his plenary portion is coming. And then from again, portion of the plenary portion. So this is how we understand. But is localized plenary portion. So out of those portions, super soul is all the way you have to come down to the second quadruple expansion of that Narayan, of that Mola Sankarshan, and then three Purusha avatar. In that Purusha avatar, the second personality, or the third personality called Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu is called super soul. only in the material world. It's not in the spiritual world. Even Brahman effulgence is only, it touches the border in between the spiritual world, material world. You have the Brahman effulgence and Virajariva. So you have to, one has to cross over the Virajariva Brahman effulgence, then you enter into the actual personal forms of the Lord from Vaikuntha to Ayodhya to Dwaraka, Jagannath Puri, Mathura, Gola the structure and hierarchy. And you have Sadasiva Lok also, 25% into that, where Lord Vaikunteswara lives in Vaikuntha. So that's how the structure is. So localized portion, but Lord Chaitanya is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with six opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. So now from this verse, so Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami went on to explain. He gave the first Srimad Bhagavatam verse, which is very famous, 1.2.11. Same thing, three aspects of the impersonal sun rays to sun planet to sun god, three aspects: impersonal, Paramatma, and then personal form, sun god. Vivaswan is there. So you go to find through the rays, you go and then you understand there is a disk that is planet, and then behind that. So, or you look at the company, that's everything operating. So, but how is it operating? That energy is not even. So, who's the source of energy? Then you have to go and find out who's that energetic. So, that will be company CEO. So, similarly, same here also. There are so many Vishnu Tattva categories. So, that also is explaining here as candles. But who is the original candle? So, that we have to find out who's that Vastu. So that is the point he's going to make here. So now from this verse, yeah, that's what first he makes, explaining in these next 10, 15 verses. Is quoting that Vadanti Tattva Vidas Tattvam Advayam Vadanti Tattva Vidas Tattvam Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti Sabdai. So these three things, Brahman effulgence, Paramatma, and personal form, all coming from the supreme absolute truth, is different levels of understanding is being explained. And then he quotes, what need is there? How much can I explain? With one portion only, I'm expanding everywhere as Brahmana or as Paramatma. He gives that Bhagavad Gita verse 10.43. Bhakti Maharaj used to quote to that regularly. Ataiva bahunaiten kim gaten bhavarjana vishtabhyamaham idam krishnam ekamsena sthito jagat. With one amsa, this Paramatma or Brahmana is pervaded everywhere. In every atom, everywhere is there. So what need is there? How much? That itself is endless glory to explain Paramatma's, how is the whole universe is everywhere is there, which we explain as Shiro. Even the demigods cannot see. In the eighth canto, you will see that Samudra Manthan. That time only they could see actually Lord face to face. Otherwise, they are going to Ksherasagara, bank. At the bank of the ocean only they can stand and offer prayers, and Lord will reveal in the heart. Lord is all the way in the middle of that ocean, huge, gigantic ocean. It's not a small ocean. So it's not like our ocean right now. Where you have to cross from US to India, you go on a flight. Maybe it takes only 8 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours, 22 hours. You go through different Caspian Sea, Red Sea, what sea, so many seas. It doesn't take that long. But this sea is so vast, we're talking Kirasagara ocean. And middle of the ocean, Lord is there. So they can't even see him. So that is what we're talking. Even the demigods, what to speak of us? So unless he wants to reveal himself, or through the spiritual master, through the parampara acharyas, we have received slightest mercy, then he can reveal himself. He can show himself. Otherwise, it is not possible. Even demigods also, even Brahma, Shiva, all of them are there offering regularly Purushottam, but he is not visible. He is revealing it to the Brahma. Brahma is revealing what is the solution and how he is going to resolve the thing. But during the Samudra Manthan, the Lord has to appear in front of them because they couldn't solve the problem. They couldn't carry the function, what they have been told to do. So because it's so heavy, to carry the mountain or to churn or to anything, to churn with Vasuki has a problem. To carry that mountain is a problem. To churn with that mountain in the ocean is a problem. Top is a problem, bottom is a problem. But Lord Vishnu solved everything. So he has to be there personally expanding in all different facets and functions of that particular solution. He has given it, and he himself again has to do many of those functions. Some of them he delegated. Lord Shiva has taken some of them. So like that, that is what it is we are talking about. That's with one portion, 10.43 Bhagavad Gita verse also is quoting, because he's giving the Shastric evidence. Then he goes on to the Upanishad explaining that famous verse which Prabhupada quotes. Parasya Shaktir Vividayo Srute Swabhavaki Gnana Balakre Na Tat Samasya Abhya Adhikasya Dushyate. What is the last line? So there is no one equal, nor no one beyond. Everything is coming from him, divided into three energies. Parasya Shaktir Vividayo Srute. But that original is the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. That's what. There is no one equal to or superior. So everybody is after him only. So that is being explained. So now, so after that, you can mute your lines, please. Now, so further, now he is going to explain. Then he gives explanation of the famous verse, which was Canto 1, Chapter 3, 27 verse 1328, I think, 1328 of Srimad Bhagavatam, which explains the 22 incarnations are explained. All these are, first you have to explain. It says, so Prabhupada gives that symptoms. First you have to explain the symptom, then you come to the original source. If you don't explain, because this is unknown substance, first you have to reveal something which are known easily, everybody understand. Then you go, oh, now you know all these things, but you know who is the source? Lord Krishna is the source. So that's how the first 22 incarnation, everybody knows as the avatar or this one, that one, people know. But you ask them who is Krishna, who is Supreme Lord, who is God, most of the people can't answer. Only if they read Prabhupada book, they can answer it. Otherwise, most of the people can give all kinds of answers. It's vague. So that's a Shastra also, because most of the people are not aware. So that's the first they will go through all these various incarnations. Then at the end, Ete Chamsakala Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrar Vyakulam Lokam Madayantu Yuge Yuge. That verse is quoted. Then now he is explaining in this particular 1992. Then he comes to this particular point. Vivardhoti explains Purusha Avatars, all the various candles of Vishnu Tattva category. All this is explained throughout these verses. Now, 90 to 92, that is the verse we have to refer. It goes on to explain whole Srimad Bhagavatam here. So, there is another verse. So, that's how he explains here. Verse number 90. Taiche Sava Avatarer Krishna Sei Karan Ara Eka Sloka Suno Ku Vyakya Kandhan. Ku, whenever ku word is used, that means negative connotation. Kutarka. Or what is that? Mm, that crow and what is that? Ardha Kukutinaya. So different. There are three, four places, different ways Prabhupada mentions those. That means chicken is first or egg is first. So our first branch fell down, or so what exactly happened? It's always Ardha Kukutinaya. Half knowledge. It's not always argumenting. So not really finding out what from the bona fide spiritual master what is the real truth. So this argument, or how did Jiva fall in? So that itself is a big this thing. So but Shastra is clear. Prabhupada is telling first concentrate on how to get out from here. Forget about what has happened. From how did you come here? So that's where we have to concentrate. What Acharya says, that's where we have to concentrate. More you ponder about, because it's not your substance to understand that. You have no intellectual power to understand it. Even if it is explained also, you won't be able to digest and understand. So that's why we have to leave it. When we come to that level, then it will be revealed. So that is what it is. Even same thing with the Siddha Swarupa, or so perfection of our original form. That also the same thing. Prabhupada only talks about in few places here and there. So, but it is because it is not to be discovered or not to be pondered upon, because we are not at that level. We are not even there at Nishta and Ruchi and Asakti. What to speak of Siddha Swarupa, Asakti and Bhava stage, we are not there. So why to discuss on the topic when we are not even there on that category? So that's why Prabhupada also doesn't go and dwell and explain that in detail. So verse number 90 is explaining here. Taiche Sabha Avatarer Krishna Sei Karan Ara Eka Sloka Suno Ku Vyakya Kandana. So now I am going to explain, give another reference by which all the kinds of arguments will stop, full stop, by this reference. That's what here Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami mentioned. His translation by Sri Prabhupada that Krishna in the same way is the cause of all incarnation, Sarva Karana, Isvara, Parama, Krishna, Sachidananda, because Brahma Samhita also he will quote here in this chapter. So, Isvara, Parama, Krishna, Sachidananda, because Anadir, Adir, Govinda, Sarva Karana, Karana is the cause of all causes. That's what is explained. And all incarnation. Is material cause, efficient cause. If you go back, material cause, you may say that Brahma is the cause, or this ingredient Big Bang theory. But who is the efficient cause? it will go back to the Karanodaka Sai Vishnu. Then who is the cause of Karanodaka Sai Vishnu? Then you have to go back all the way to Lord Krishna. So that's he is the cause of everything, material world, spiritual world, everything. And the cause of even all the various incarnations. That's what he's saying. But now he's going to quote that verse. Please hear another verse to defeat all misinterpretation. That's what it means. Ku Vakya. So, or Ku Vishaya in Sanatan goes Sanatan Siksha that is used. So, I don't know who I am. So, please tell me who I am. Everybody calls me Pandit, so, but I have no idea who I am because I don't know what is my duty, who I am, where I have to go, how to go back home, back to Godhead. So that's what in these words also we have to understand. We should not stop because when we say supreme absolute truth, we have to know how to attain it, how to go back home, back to Godhead. That answer has to be understood and discussed. And because that is Vastu. Whenever we speak about Vastu, just knowing Krishna's form without understanding how you go there and serve him, if you don't understand that, then it's only half knowing. Nama Rupa Guna Leela is to go there and eternally serve there. Here it begins, but ultimately we have to go there and serve. Then how do you go there? That also has to be understood, and that will cover because that's what is the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is to bring one to. That's why Prabhupada writes regularly. Almost in every canto, you will see this point. Going back home, back to God. Prabhupada will put this in the purport. Secret of success is going back home, back to God. How do you get there? Prabhupada writes it almost regularly. Every canto you'll find in few places, at least in few verses. Every canto, pretty much. From canto 1 to canto 12, you will find regularly. So that's the concentration because the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is for that purpose, understanding it, but also attaining it. And it is available for everybody. If you simply follow what Prabhupada is calling in all these places as secret of success, we have to pay attention there. Regularly, every day, one has to do those exact steps. You can miss it. If you want to attain it, you have to, just like final exam, you have to do, they will tell you have to go through these exams. Then final exam, you will be able to pass at least 60, 70, 80. And Prabhupada, no less than 70%. If you make it 70%, I will fill up the rest of 30%, you will go back home, back to God. So at least we have to fix on 70%. So because there are many things to be done, but at least you will simplify that. 4 or 5 things you have to regularly, you have to do it. Those 4 or 5 things is that 70%. So we have to do exactly regularly every day, same things. Then we'll go back home, back to God. We'll have bliss in this life, and then while going back also, we'll enter and have even more bliss there. So that's what we have to concentrate. Verse number 91 and 92. Very famous verse from this is from the second canto, chapter 10, verse number 1. 10, 10 subjects of Srimad Bhagavatam has been explained, is quoting that. Because that in Srimad Bhagavatam, we explaining that Paribhas Sutra 1328, which we quoted, Krishna is the source of all incarnation. But then he has to establish that point through all these cantos. 10th canto is the supreme shelter, Ashraya Tattva, Ashrita and Ashraya, which Prabhupada explains in the purport here. So that's the Ashraya. How do you get there? How do you understand? Unless you understand all other tattvas, other philosophies, everything from the beginning of creation aspect, all these 10 subjects, you can't understand. Otherwise, you'll mistake with something else. You'll have only half knowledge. You'll not have all understanding. What is Bhakti Tattva? What is Jiva Tattva? What is Ishvara Tattva? What is Shiva Tattva? What is Guru Tattva? We won't understand everything. Then we will conclude so you don't need spiritual master or Krishna is equal to Vishnu, Vishnu is equal to Krishna. You'll come up with all kinds of ideas. Demigods and God, everybody is same because understanding is not there. Or we can become God. So all these philosophies will stay there. Doubts will stay there. So or I don't need to serve Guru, I don't need a spiritual master, I can attain it. We'll come up with all kinds of conclusions. But Shastra is saying clearly how exactly you'll do it. That's why you'll see that Prabhupada is calling out in few places. 2 steps only. There are 2 steps. One step is to go forward, another step is to go backward. One step is to go back home, back to Godhead, another step is go back to hell. So one has to decide. It's the same thing is there in the Christian philosophy also, Prabhupada explains. That there they call heaven, One path is to go heaven, another path is to go to hell. So this is only two things are there. One has to decide, and the steps are also clear. If you follow this step, then you will go step forward. If you don't follow that step, then naturally you are in the second step, which is going backward, going to the hell. So it is very clearly Prabhupada writes in many places. Prabhupada is writing, quoting the Bhagavad Gita, verse chapter 9, verse number I think 32. Mam hiparda vipasviti episyo papa yona striyo sudra vaisya epi anti param gatim. He is calling that param gatim. Step forward to go supreme destination, Vaikuntha, Golok, Vrindavan, Ayodhya, Dwaraka, Mathura, depending on what is our rasa with the Lord, which form of the Lord. So step backward is, and then you will quote Prahlad. So let us chant this verse, then I will explain that. So what is the process to go back, come back to Godhead? Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanam bhutaya manvantara ishanukata nirodho muktirashtraya dasamasya visuddhyardham navanam iha lakshanam. These 9, 10 subjects are there, but 9 are first has to be explained these lakshanas. Then you understand who is the source of all these symptoms and lakshanas, characteristics. It's all coming from the Supreme Lord. So that's a Nava Lakshana. Navanam iha lakshanam varnayanti mahatmana. It's quoting Mahatmas. Mahajanas has explained like this. Srutena ardena cha anjasa. By hearing this knowledge, then one can completely become clear. Then tat anjasa jayet. You will see that anjasa also. It will be cleansed, it will be purified, and you will go back home, back to Godhead. That is the point. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10 subjects are described. The creation of the ingredients of the cosmos, creation of Brahma, maintenance of the creation, special favor given to the faithful, impetus for activity, prescribed duties for law-abiding man, the description of the incarnation of the Lord, the binding of the creation, liberation from gross and subtle material existence, the ultimate shelter, the Supreme Personality of God. The 10th item is the shelter of all others. To distinguish this ultimate shelter from the other 9 subjects, the Mahajanas have described these 9 directly or indirectly through prayers or direct explanations. So in the first verse also you'll see that directly or indirectly. So Janmadhyasata Anvayad Itarata Anvayad Itarata Cha Ardeshu Abhigna Sura Tene Brahmadaya Adikavaye Muhyanti Yat Suraya Tejo Var Mridam. There it's like comparing with the desert. There is no water in the desert, but animals are running thinking that there is a mirage. It is like that. That is directly and indirectly. You have to understand also indirect what it is not. What is absolute, what it is not also one has to understand. Regularly that kind of topic and subject will come about in Srimad Bhagavatam. Parikshit Maharaj asked also like that. What it is not. And Sanatana Siksha also is asking the same thing. You tell me what I will ask, and you tell me also what I am not able to ask. I don't know what I have to ask, everything. I may not know many things. Then you have to tell me what I'm not going to, because you know the Supreme Lord, you know everything. So what will make me deliver, what will make me understand my original position, my service to the Supreme Lord. So that's how you'll see that Parikshit Maharaj asking what is to be done, what is not to be done. Both ways, positively, negatively, directly, indirect, both you have to understand. Then only we can conclude. That's why the smartavyasya satato Vishnu vismartavyas na jato. That also, there also that point is made. It's not one, because you think everything is same. Everything is going to the absolute. Every path is going there only, people will think. No, but that is not the case. Krishna doesn't explain that way. So that's why both things you have to know. Positive, negative, direct, indirect. So then only we can actually make progress. Everything becomes very crystal clear. No ambiguity will stay in our heart. How much big purport is there? Wow. Okay, we'll chant prayers and we'll explain, because all the time is up. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Grim Met Krupatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Denataranam Paramanandamavam Sri Chaitanya Iswaram. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Rupa Goswam Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. So here the 10 subjects are being mentioned, which is starting from creation. Atra Sarga Visargascha. So first one is Sarga, creation, which is coming from Lord is creating the, ingredients are always there. It Prabhupada explains as like cloud and sky. And the cloud will appear and then disappear. Otherwise, the water is there, sun is there, it's evaporating and cloud. So appears, disappears. So that way, this material world is going on. Creation, maintenance, destruction. Again, creation. It's eternal in that sense. Same way, these ingredients are always there. But Lord has to activate it. So that is the business of the Lord, Lord Vishnu. Sarga is done by the Lord Vishnu. So the whole Srimad Bhagavatam from Canto 1 all the way up to Canto 5, the Sarga is expanded. Sarga Visarga is expanded. Even though one may think first one is creation, second canto is sub-creation. Some extent it is there, but it is elaborate. Creation, sub-creation doesn't stop there. Because Canto 3 also, again, the Sankhya Yoga is all about this 24 elements. How did it happen? From the beginning, everything is explained detailed, what these elements are. So that's what Sargam is. Sarga is coming from Lord Vishnu, activating these elements of the five material elements, Pancha Mahabhutas, earth, water, fire, air, ether, starting from is the ether and sound vibration. That's why we have to concentrate on the sound vibration more than anything else. And then you go to the next one, these 10 indriyas, so karmendriyas, gyanendriyas. Then behind that is subtle sense objects with the ears and everything. So vision and rupa, rasa, gandha, sabda, sparsa. In Sanskrit, Prabhupada calls it. So here itself we have 10 plus 5, 10, 15 and plus 5, 20. And the mind till the ego, 23. You add time factor 25, then you add three modes of 28, and then you add the what is it, unmanifested and manifested. That the Pradhan is in the unmanifested before the three modes. Because without three modes, without the Lord's glance, that is the time factor, Kala Sakti, Kali, Kal. So that time factor has to touch for it to activate. Until that, it is in dormant stage. So cloud doesn't shower any rain. It has nothing. So Lord activates it, then Sadasiv comes into picture. That one's glance is transferred. That also very distance. It's not directly in touch. This glance. Then Ramadevi, Vishnu and Ramadevi is giving it to Lord Shiva and then his consort, and then they are taking it. In that sense, even Srishti, Sruti, Pralaya, even Durga Devi and Shiva becomes the creator. Because indirectly Lord is delegated and they are doing it. Annihilation also is doing it. That also is again delegation only, because Anantadev is the one first to gives that power, then it goes to Sadasiva. In the fifth canto, last chapter, you will see that glories of Ananta. There it is explained how Sadasiva destroys. First, it has to come from Lord Anantadev. Then Lord Shiva does his destruction. Otherwise, he can't do. Same thing here. Unless he glances and he activates it, it can. So that's why Sarga is, in one sense, is coming from Lord Vishnu. Visarga is Lord Brahmas. He's taking the ingredient, creating the 14 planetary system structure, and then giving the Prajapati, expanding this creation, bodies, different bodies. So that is Visarga. Or that is Sarka, Visarga. And Sthanam. Sthanam is fifth canto. The structure of the universe, how this all laid out, or maintenance in one sense also. Sthanam, Sthanam is the structure of the universe, yeah, where it is laid out, all this whole thing. Lord is floating this whole thing. Different ways, different it is explained. Each canto it explains differently. Mind is the, so moon is the Lord's mind, mountains are Lord's bones, oceans are rivers. So different ways it is explained. The water is the Lord's semen. In some place it is, in the eighth canto you will find. In some other place you will find different ways it is explained. So it is all coming from the Lord. Lord is the source basically. He is expanding as in universal form means all these ways is everywhere. All his heads are there, his hands are there, legs are there. Some other parts are also demigods also lords. This in this way universal form. So all this sthanam is maintaining all the structure of the universe. Fifth canto is more or less explains from all the way topmost planet. You have 14 planets, Teloka, then You have that reverse dolphin, what they call, I'm forgetting that word, Sanskrit word. That planet is also, there's a fiery planet, and then this planet is also there. This is all explained in fifth canto. So that is Thanam. And then Poshnam is sixth canto, because it's a protection of showing the example of Ajamil and who is that? Chatraketu Maharaj. Two examples are there. How Lord protects his devotees is pretty much that is a Poshana, because Lord is the actual protector. Lord and Lord's representative is the protector of the devotees. And that's why we take shelter of the Lord and Lord's devotees, both. And it becomes even more secure when you take shelter of Lord's devotees. So we can't go wrong, because Lord is very cunning, very tricky. So that's why you have to always be with the Lord's representative, so that we don't become tricked by the Maya. We don't become tricked by the allurements, because he cannot give himself until we are fully sure, 100%. We are really confident, and then only Krishna gives himself. Because once he gives himself, then he loses his he will be in ecstasy. He will lose his control, like in front of Yasodama, in front of Balaram, in front of his cohort boys. In all these rasas, he completely gives him no more adhin. He's not. He can be controlled very easily. He doesn't know what is going to happen next. He gives himself to them. Paradhin. He becomes paradhin. Otherwise, he cannot be controlled by anybody. He's independent. But when it comes to his devotees, especially the pure devotees from the especially Sakya Vatsala Madhura, then it becomes Paradhin. So that's it. The Poshanam, we can see that example of Ajamil and Chitraketu Maharaj. Utaya is also very important. Seventh canto is Utaya. Utischa Vasana Proktam Tat Karma Anusarina. Siddhar Swami quotes that point. Positive, negative, auspicious, inauspicious. If you do auspicious like Prahlad Maharaj, you will get. If you do inauspicious, then you'll have to go to the step backward, going to the hell. That is Hiranyakasipu. Both are explained. One has to choose this way or that way. There is no other way about it. Either go forward or backward. So going backward is that verse only. Prabhupada is quoting. Seventh canto, fifth chapter, verse number, I think 30. 29, I think. Yeah, 28, 29, 30. 30 verse. Materna Krishna verse. Prabhupada points explains that this is going backward, going to hell. Because Danta. Adanta means no control. No control to serve the Lord and his master. Senses to be controlled. That means sense enjoyment is more. So Adanta. Naturally, you are going to Visatam Tamishram. And then Prabhupada explained that the human being is entering into this Amda Tamishra hell, 26 types of hell. So he is going there. If he engages in this Vedanta, then that's where he will go. Instead of going step forward and go backward. Because this topic cannot be understood, this absolute truth cannot be understood by his own or by others. Means self-study cannot be understood, and even if others also, unless spiritual master is there, unless a sadhu Mahajan is there. One of the Mahajan, one of the pure devotee, one of them is there, guiding, giving shelter, giving protection, and explaining everything, training him up. So then only you can actually attain this, understand this, and attain this. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it. You will go step backward. You won't be able to control your senses, because you will not have capacity, you will not have understanding, you will not have power, you will not have intelligence. Intelligence cannot be purified like that. So all these things, in all these ways, will become, will always be weak in that sense. So that's why we have to be strengthened always by the pure devotee of the Lord, always. So that is the point you will make there. Matirna Krishna Parata Swato. Swa means our own, Para means others. Others maybe seems like knowledgeable, means like experience, means like, so very long in this journey. No, it won't do it. Matirna Krishna Parata Swatova Mito Abhipad. Combined also you can do. Your own experience, others' experience together also. No. Mito Abhipadyet Graha Vratanam, because we are Grahapat most of the times. So Grahastha Ashram, there Prabhupada, or Grahamedi, there he explains that. Graha Vratanam Adanta Govir, Adanta, there Prabhupada explains. Danta or Adanta. So only way you can control is Mahiyasam Padarajo Abhishekam Nishkinchananam Avranita Yavat, in the next verse, after this verse. So he's telling it. Prahlad is telling Hiranyakashipu. You can't become by yourself or others. This topic, this subject is not one of those you can understand so easily. You need a pure devotee. You need dust of their pure devotee. You need to follow their instruction, Vani, Vapu, both. So that's why the going back home, back to God, step forward, Prabhupada is pointing this Parangati and telling that going forward and going back home, back to God is easy way. All you have to do is be happy and chant the holy names and hear. So this is the first thing one has to do. Regularly Prabhupada writes it. One must wake up and chant. One must hear. Regularly talks about it. Almost everywhere. Every purport you will regularly see this point. That step cannot. And you should be happily doing it. Not grudging, oh, I have to wake up today. I thought it's a weekend. I can sleep. No. It has to be done happily, willingly, lovingly, because my guru said so, Acharya said so. By this, I can naturally develop love. I can understand that Krishna is sitting with me, playing with me, ready to play with me. You feel naturally, then you are really, I can't miss this opportunity. How can I miss playing with Krishna? How can I miss talking with Krishna today? In that kind of consciousness, one will get there. So that has to be done. Initially, maybe mechanical, but we have to do it very seriously. We have to come very soon, seriously, by doing the other four things. The second thing is to serve others, to take care of others, to serve others. Very important business. That's why do people go to doctors? Why do people go to different, for different problems? But these problems, somebody has to be there to take care. So that is devotee's business. That is Vaishnava's business. Paradukka Sukhi. That means he is always interested. Prahlad Maharaj is interested. Prabhupada is interested. Our Guru Varga is interested. How can I deliver this conditioned soul? Because if you wait too long, then doctor, if you go to anybody going to doctor, we all have gone to doctor. Wait too long, then the leg has to be amputated. Or more the problem goes serious, then more one has to, doctor will become, so sorry to see this situation. Now, that situation we should not come to. That means we should be regular. Then other things also that comes to the point. So that's why we should go to the regularly to the doctor. That means we should be regularly in touch with Guru. Or we should be regularly paying attention what Guru has to say. We should be regularly serving Guru. So otherwise it becomes always a problem, big problem. So going to doctor, serious problems, chronic problem, this problem, that problem. All serious problems, you have to know. Symptoms, as soon as you know, you tell the doctor, then he can treat it, preventive. If you wait all the way long and then you come to him, then by that time it's so dangerous situation it has come to. Then how to solve it? It will be a problem. So regular problem itself we're talking about. But here is expert doctor, expert scientist in every way. That is spiritual master, pure devotee of the Lord. So that's why it's very important to do his business. His business is to take care of others. So that means we're acting on their behalf. We are trying to become a doctor on his behalf, on behalf of the Guru. So it's very important. And third thing is we should serve. We should distribute. We should preach. We should distribute the message, distribute the prasadam, distribute the books, whatever form or shape. This should be done regularly, as much as regularly. It could be once a week, once a day, whatever capacity. We should try always look for the opportunities to do. We should be eager to do. Because this is all coming under, because more you do these things, because Prabhupada talks about regularly. So otherwise we will always be more of a self. When I will go back home, back to God, when my position will be secure, whether I will be in this position, how can I enjoy more? So how can I enjoy, even though it may be prasadam, it may be whatever, our services, our many different comforts with, we like to do certain things, certain ways. With all this comes under we are self-oriented, not for others, not for Guru, not for Prabhupada, not for the Lord, not for Paramparacharyas. It will be always my position, always my, it comes to my only, always mine. So it doesn't. So, but when you start doing this second and third, taking care of others, and you are always trying to distribute, then you will become less of think of ourselves. What is going to happen to me? So you'll think about more about others, because constantly you will be getting also more and more love and more energy, strength by this. If you don't do the second and third, then naturally will be drained, regularly will be drained. Because we are weak generally, and we are not doing the second and third, naturally we become, even the interest in chanting, hearing also will go away. Because we are being pulled in different directions. Because as I told, we are most of the family members. So that means Graha so this already has it is a draining business. Will constantly be drained out. We put less energy, but all even that less energy also will be drained out regularly. We will have no strength to wake up, no strength to chant, no strength to hear. Because second and third will give strength, will give the like a rocket propeller, it is called. So that is the second and third regularly we have to do. Doesn't matter. No excuses saying I'm only junior, I just joined, I'm only 6 months, I don't know anything. No, that means Prabhupada, when he started also, nobody knew anything. But they were going and giving the books or giving prasadam, like our Jolly or Jayananda Prabhu used to go and distribute prasadam like anything. Doesn't matter is Western or India, whether he will accept or not accept also we don't know. But he used to give it. So they used to see him and smile. Wherever he sees him. So everybody was so much in love with Jayan Prabhu. It was like that because Prasadam made him intoxicated himself and then he made others also intoxicated. So when they will become devotees, when they will go back home, back to that is not our position to understand. So that is up to the Lord and Guru. Our duty is to only do what is being told by the Shastra, as per by Prabhupada, by our Paramparacharyas. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur called himself, I am the sweeper. I am the sweeper of this Namhata. I am the sweeper. I am not the leader. I am the sweeper. My business is to sweep. My business is to make sure everything is clean. Devotees' hearts are clean. Loving exchanges are there. Everybody is taken care. So all the problems are solved. So that is his business. Because sweeper business is to make everything clean, keep it clean, so that Lord can have happily. So Lord will be happy. So that's why to come to that platform, what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is doing, is explaining these things. Second and third step. Fourth one is we have to be in touch regularly with the Guru. We have to be regularly in touch with, especially if you are initiated or aspiring or shelter, whatever position we are in, we have to be regularly in touch. That means you have to hear. What he has to say, you have to hear regularly. So it cannot be missed, otherwise we will not know. So what he wants us to do, we will not know. We don't regularly hear and make the notes what exactly he was telling me to do, what I have to change in my actions, in my thoughts, in the way I act, in the way I respond. We can't do that. We won't be able to know because intelligence is not getting purified. Since we are missing, we are not hearing regularly, and our intelligence will not be purified. We will not know exactly what is to be done, how to deal, deal with problem. Material problems also will not know. Forget about spiritual problems. Material problems also will not know how to deal with it when we hit with the problem. Regularly we hit with the problem. We are in Kali hospital. Now in this after COVID, it is even worse. So many problems regularly we have to hit with. Then how do you deal with it? So every time so you won't be able to know. So, but if you follow this process, if you are regularly in touch, regularly hearing, you're in constant contact with Guru. You have to be in contact. Bhaktivinoda Thakur made it like this. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur had made a facility that certain time he is open. That also Prabhupada also made it a point that in certain time, whether Prabhupada in Mayapur and certain places, open door policy. Anybody can come and talk to me. Anybody can come and talk to me. Any problem. You bring it, we'll talk, we'll understand, we'll resolve. That means so everybody should be in touch. That is the point. That means we have to be constantly in touch with Guru, constantly in touch, regularly. Either through most of the time, either through representatives, because Guru may be doing so many things, so he may be busy in many things. We should always be with their representatives. That's how Bhaktivinoda Thakur has established. That's how Prabhupada established. Everybody is going through that because Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Seventh Goswami, has established this process very clear. As a GBC or as a counselor system, it is very clear process. There is no ambiguity, confusion there. Because everybody has to understand the leader's mood and position and is clearly giving the guidelines how to do certain things. Because he cannot work with everybody and tell everything in detail. He can give to the leaders and then they will propagate it, they will channel it down, and they will make sure. So that's it is taking care of business, serving and following in this way, whatever Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling. Through Prabhupada writes this regularly, going back home, back to Godhead, in these things. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur also, that's why the GBC is there. He doesn't want one answer, but those who deviated failed. They couldn't distribute. They couldn't propagate this movement because they didn't follow. Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur was very clear on this. No one acharya business. You don't become your own acharya, because when multiple people are there, then you, because it will become too much for one person to handle it. When there are multiple people, then you always come together, you always share and you distribute it. It doesn't become too much. Or if one person is there, he falls down, then everything becomes chaos. So either way, so that's why this consular system and this institutionalizing the system with multiple people under one umbrella. This has been instituted by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and then Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur established, more formalized it as GBC, and having that system clearly laying out so that it helps. You can go to different, if you don't like certain person or you cannot share confidence, then you go to another person. But you have to stay within the system. You have to go connect through the guru, through the representative. So you have to go through. Otherwise, because you will not know everything, we won't be able to decide, understand, what exactly guru wants, whether he is pleased with me, whether I am doing the right thing. I'm in a right direction or not direction. I'm thinking I'm doing right, but how will you cross check it? How will we are sure 100%? Only if we are in touch, we are sharing it, then we'll know. We'll get the feedback. So if there is a correction or if we are doing certain things we are not doing properly, Guru will know. So that's a Prabhupada. He was reading the letters, he was responding it through his disciples, or there many times he himself used to dictate. Hmm. Yes, you will see it. Most of the sadhus will do that, even though they are busy. So I see regularly, when from our Swayam Bhagavan Kesam Maharaj, they may take time. Many Maharaj also, I see the replies, they do reply, even though they are super busy. They have many things to do. So even though we think they are busy, they will not respond. We don't even consider, first of all, to write, to be in touch. This is all our problem only, because we think we know everything. We think we are already reading Prabhupada's books. We know everything. I don't need Guru. I don't need to hear him regularly. Once in a while, when I like it, when I have mood, I will hear. So that means it is becoming like a material thing. You have no real law. You have real law means you can't do it without it. Every day you have to do it. Just like you're eating, you're sleeping. Without it, you can't do it. You can't skip it. So it has to come like that. That means you are really genuinely feeling, "Oh, my guru is there with me. I have to follow him. Without him, I can't survive my life." So material life also. We need that, because through guru only even material life will be maintained. So we'll not hit with big, big problems. Even if we hit it, we will get a strength to come out of it. Otherwise, without guru's strength, even materially, we become so weak. Mentally, we become so weak. We can't sustain ourselves, material life or spiritual life. So that is so important. And then when the Guru and Sadhu is there, we have to serve him. These are the five things. To go back home, back to Godhead, pretty much you will find this from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. So Prabhupada writes this in different ways, is expressing these things. In most of the places you will find 1, 2, and 3, but we elaborate it. In other places you'll find fourth and fifth. And we see that practical examples of Prabhupada writing letters, responding it, Prabhupada meeting with devotees regularly from the beginning, 1966 all the way till 1977, before passing away. It's very important. So if you follow this process, then we're stepping forward, and then we're going back home, back to Godhead. It's guaranteed. Guaranteed. We simply follow these principles. It's not rocket science. It's not difficulty. Only it has to do with love. It has to do with genuineness. It has to do with honesty in our loving relationship. With the Lord first, Lord should be in the center, and then His representative. Those two has to be there every day. It cannot be missed. Jayam Stuvans is SS something. Otherwise, why it is stressed so much? 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, evening. How many of us really put your hand on the heart and think, and are we doing it? Oh, many times we miss it. And that means we are not following the process. As simple as that. We have to make it happen. When Shastra is very clear, when we chant going to Mangalarti and clearly chanting that, SS Jayam Stum SS Trisanyam, and when we are not actually explicitly doing it, then what is that? That means we are really lacking, we are not paying attention to the simple basic tenets of Krishna consciousness. So that means we are not regularly doing these things, what has been laid out regularly. So, Srunotam Sadhaya Nityam Grananti. This is what is happening. Heart is not actually becoming the recipient, is not accepting the instructions of an Acharya, Parampara, Acharya or Guru in the heart. We are not taking in the heart. That is what is causing us not to understand this Vastu. Mm. We think we know, but actually, in reality, we don't know this is Vastu. If we do know, then we will act exactly what Acharya is. That's what. When we really, in truth, we don't know, then we don't act. We can't put it in practice. Only the person can put in practice when you understand this real substance, real Vastu, what has been explained here. This whole chapter is for that only. When you really understand Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord, Krishna is our Lord and Master and life and soul, then naturally you will feel because you have to do exactly what is representative is telling. Exactly. You can't miss it. Uh, if we didn't understand, then we won't be able to practice it. So that's why regularly we have to follow this principle to understand the Vastu more and more. We become more and more close, more and more love. Love will increase as Anandamadi Vardhanam. So that is the point here also. Utaya. As per Prahlad Maharaj is very much stressing. So that is why Prahlad Maharaj prayers, please hear Prabhupada classes. More you hear about it, more you are going back home or going back home, back to God is certain. Certain. Because all the possible instructions, everything is there. That's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hearing regularly Prahlad pastimes. Even though it seems we know these chapters, seemingly. But actually, no. If we know it, we are very so thorough. Every day, without miss, we'll do it. Because we have not digested that substance, what is been given in the seventh canto from chapter 5 as per to all the way chapter 9, those 4 or 5 chapters, or the Nardamani's pastime in the beginning, those 2 chapters, fifth chapter, sixth chapter, first canto. So our not to go there, even to come to that 70% what Prabhupada stressed, just 70% do it, not less than that. Then you're going back home, back to God. But we're not able to do even that 70% also. So problem is not following the what is been stressed secret of success repeatedly. Mm, So this is the problem. So if we all pay attention, so that's why we all if one person fails, I repeatedly tell this. If one of us will, we don't think that we are in success. We may be some of us may be doing it many of these things. Don't call it as success. Don't think that doing one person alone is not so great thing. We all have to do together. We all have. Then Prabhupada will be happy. Why did he install otherwise this movement? Why did he put this expanded these many temples everywhere? Prabhupada wanted everybody to follow this process together, cooperate, work it, and making sure take care of each other, serve and love, and expand it. Expand it. So that's why this is very important things to consider here. This is how we actually understand the supreme absolute truth by simply following these 5, 6 things. So Manvantra, Ishan, Kadis, all these are for that purpose only. All these subject matter from Canto 1 to Canto 10 is to understand this point of supreme absolute truth and his representative and how to develop love and how to serve it. In what ways we should serve. So in what ways we exchange this love. So that is the point. Nirodha Muktir Ashraya. That is Ashraya Tattva. So that's why we have to take full with heart. शृण्वन्तु श्रद्धया नित्यं गृह्णन्ति स्वाचेष्ट कालेन न अतिदीर्घेन भगवान विसते हृदि सेकंड कैंटो फर्स्ट chapter second chapter I think second chapter one of the verse I forget 38 or something this particular verse many verses are there like this where it is just grananti accept in the heart to heart connection with your guru with paramparacharya with our Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj, all these personalities are very, very interesting, special personalities. So very, very loving and caring and emotions. You can feel it in their writings, in the way they express themselves throughout this wonderful literatures. So that is the point I want to make it. Let's see, purport, but elaborate purport is there. You can read, but I have covered it at least. So the essence of it, the 10 subject matter is to come to that. Votaya is seventh canto, Manmantra is eighth canto. So representing the various Manus details. And some of the Manthan pastime is also there. Ishanukata, so is the ninth canto. So Manmantra, Ishanukata, seventh canto, eighth and ninth. And then Nirodha Mukti Ashraya. So Nirodha is for the 12th chapter, 12th canto, annihilation, four kinds of annihilation explained. Mukti is liberation, is in the I think 11th canto, Uddhava Gita and everything else, Maharaj Nimis, then Ashtra is 10th canto. So even though it is not exactly like this, so 10th subject matter, so because 11th and 12th is going afterwards. That's how our acharyas explain. This is how this 10th canto is Ashtraya, 11th and 12th is Nirodha and Mukti. So it comes back like that. So ninth canto is the Ishanukata, Lord Ramchandra pastime is explained. So in this way, one gradually understands. But every canto is for the same purpose only. How to perfect our life, going back home, back to God. So, but different case studies, different explanation, different subject matter. But the point is, essential point is the same only. To uh, develop and exchange this love through the Lord and through the Guru. With that, I will stop here. Anyone has questions, comments, corrections, reflections, you can share it. Because already 8:90. Andras, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Anyone has questions, comments, reflections? Looks like everything is clear. Yeah, we'll stop here then. Thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarabhasya कृपा सिंधुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णव की जय नमाचार्य दास ठाकुर की जय. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful class. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. This Sunday is Ekadasi. On this Sunday morning, we'll have 8 to 9. Sarvadruk Prabhu will give class. This weekend, Saturday, I think we'll do Maha cleanup and book distribution will be there. So if you are anybody available, please let us know. Paramanand Chaitanya Prabhu, one of us, so that we can do it. This is the last weekend before Gaur Purnima, so that we can have invite also when we meet people. More people can join for Gaur Purnima Thursday evening. We'll celebrating fasting moon rise. Interestingly, next day is also there's a lunar eclipse. I wish it would have happened on Thursday. Maybe in India it is Friday, so it's happening there. But lunar eclipse is there Friday. This Friday, not this Friday, next Friday, 14th. Yeah, 14th. But it's interesting. You can think that it's very wonderful to have that eclipse together, because when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, eclipse was there. So it's good to be on the next day. So anyway, next day is Jagannath Mishra's pastime. Just like Nandotsav is there, then Mastami next day. Similarly, you'll see that Jagannath Mishra's Utsav next day. So you can consider in that way next day also. So one can be still in that consciousness of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. A heartfelt thank you to Bhagavad Gita class. Ingredients of the universe from Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, thank
Five
you.
elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. These are the building blocks of the universe. Nature. Lord Krishna says, nature is my energy and I control it. Soul. The soul never dies, it just moves from one body to another. Time. I'm time, the great destroyer of the world, says Krishna. Supreme Being. I am everywhere and nothing exists beyond me. Understanding these five will help us know the secret of the universe. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. I had to join the other call, regular class. Okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna.